it sticks in my craw. I disagree that the earth is overpopulated. I say there's plenty for everybody, and we don't need to wreck the earth. We should stop using chemical fertilizers, stop using toxic stuff, stop polluting the earth. Take care of the planet, be good stewards of the planet. Release all that disruptive technology, disruptive to profits. Okay? Yeah, clean energy, the whole bit, man. We can have it all. We can have, people love big cities. They love, it's like, I've heard Alex Jones compare it to fish and a reef. I mean, they like to congregate in cities and stuff. They like that. So, I mean, we could have, cities with hundreds of millions of people. I love this place, Hey, people like people. They like to be together. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, California can grow enough food to feed the entire planet. And these are things that could be statistically proven. There's plenty. I mean, the entire Earth population could fit in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, you wrap your mind around that. That's a mathematic calculation. That's just a fact. Yeah, sure, you could say, oh, it's standing room only, but nevertheless, the point is made. So when you think about, a state like Texas, you get a little more room there. Even with the 7.5 billion people in the state of Texas, they could all fit comfortably. They could all lay down, let's say, at least. So when it comes to the earth, and our ability to build high-rise buildings that people like so much, there's no problem with population. Growing enough food and all that, the building materials is all in plenty, in abundance. So that's all. I just want to make that point. That's my feelings on that population bit. I listen to God. Let what God said dictate your thinking on that matter. Max Kaiser on the Kaiser Report had this guy Craig Hemke of TA Metals report on the Kaiser Report. I really like this guy. He's a very honest guy with integrity, and he knows. This guy's paying attention. He knows how corrupt and how far we've fallen in this country. I mean, it just. It was actually, this was from a video from last week. I was watching the Kaiser Report, but yeah, I really like Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert. They're this married couple that do this report. I think they're both very right on, and I just admire economists with integrity a lot. And saying it like it is, man. I mean, point out corruption where it is, speak truth to power, and everybody else that'll listen. For Christ's sake, help. We need help. And we all need to do our own little part, in this thing. And, he pointed out how bad he has to pay some 20-something $1,000 a year he's paying for Obamacare. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's like these people go for the low-hanging fruit, and once they destroy the low-hanging fruit, they've squeezed all the blood out of the turnips they can, okay? Then they go and they got to reach up. So they're always reaching up for more people to steal from. And they're taking from the have-nots and giving to the haves. This is the politicians, the government colluding, these bureaucrats with the insurance companies, and that makes it fascist. Okay, so it crosses party lines. Okay, and it's all the parties are involved. I mean, people with socialistic views and capitalistic views, or professed socialist, professed capitalistic, professed liberal, professed conservative, professed Republican, professed Democrats. It's all bull. They're all working in the same direction, whether they do it on a subliminal level or otherwise. I mean, they're all just, it's a mess. That's why this whole problem we have with the wealth imbalance and the increasing poverty, it's got legs. I mean, no matter what Trump does to try to bring prosperity to the people, and that's the best path to freedom, is prosperity across the board. Let a rising tide of prosperity lift all ships. Nobody should have to worry about money in America, about being free and being prosperous. Because if you're not prosperous, you're not financially free. You get it? So, this is it. This is how our wealth is being stolen. This is how they're enslaving people. And people have got to wrap their minds around the serious nature of this minimum wage business, how for decades they haven't given commensurate cost of living adjustments to minimum wage workers. How do you think they're stealing our wealth? This debt, how do you think they're paying it off? By debasing the currency. Well, your debt is worthless. We just made it easier to pay. Well, we just pulled money out of thin air and debased the currency. We know it hurt the people at the bottom the most. It was, if you compare it to needles, it's like one needle is a spike in the arm of the poorest of poor that's probably going to kill them. They're going to hemorrhage out, and the other one's just a pinprick. And they got people believing they should vote for against their best interest. Well, vote for a gas tax. Vote for a higher cost of living. You understand? I mean, we're in it deep. We're in a lot of trouble, my friends. But it's just a pinprick. It's a nominal fee to the financially well-heeled. But for you, it's, it might be a death blow. Your rent went up $50. You're out. You're under the bridge. You're in your car. You're back at your parents' house. You're somewhere, but you can't afford to pay your bills anymore. And the people controlling this, they don't care as long as there's a healthy demand on this, unnatural demand. We keep bringing in more refugees and immigrants that are more destitute and desperate and hard up than, our people. Give our people, our native sons and daughters, a taste of what it's like to be destitute. Hence, all the homeless native-born American sons and daughters out there dying out in the cold. That's what they're getting, the taste of destitution. From empirical evidence, you think there's no welfare left. Why would we allow homelessness if there was welfare left? Allow our own native-born sons and daughters to die out in the cold. Not criminals, because if you decide that you can't take it and you're just going to do something out of desperation and become a criminal, then you'll get 3 hots and a cot at a cost of $50,000 a year per inmate. But criminals, they get bupkis. They get nothing. So. San Jose, California got a 7% hike in water rates, citing lower usage through mandatory cutbacks. See, this is supply and demand turned on its head. People talk about capitalism. Nobody understands nothing. It's like the post office. Well, people are sending a lot less letters now, so we got to we got to pass off that, to our customers. We can't absorb that cost. We're not going to take a hit and lay people off or cut our, benefits. No. We're going to make you pay. You understand? So it always hurts. I mean, if it's a tax that the poor also have to pay, hence postage stamps, then it's a tax on the poor. Gas tax on the poor. You see how this thing works? So they make sure that they're, taking the low-hanging fruit and making sure that low-hanging fruit doesn't go anywhere. Middle class, forget it. Your hopes are dashed. Forget it. You got to pull a rabbit out of the hat these days to ever rise above desperate poverty. The renter class. No, you're stuck there forever. I don't know what you can do when you're too old to work and your rent's not, your Social Security check's not going to pay for it. Your pension, your retirement's not going to pay for your rent. What are you going to do? You hope to inherit something. I mean, what's going on in your head? People got to start fighting. They got to start speaking out, man. You got to get mad. You got to put your foot down. All of us. Your rent goes up. You got to say, no, I'm sorry, but you want to kill me? I mean, I'm going to be out under the bridge. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. I mean, if you don't demand justice, you're sure as hell not going to get it. Okay, and it's tough, man. I mean, I don't know, man. We got to work together here somehow. I like Tucker Carlson quite a bit. I think he speaks the truth. I think he's walking a tightrope and he knows it. I like Sean Hannity too. I think these guys are trustworthy and truthful. Yeah, trust everything you hear the mainstream media says. Eggs are bad, butter is bad, salt is bad, and then don't listen to what Dr. Joel Wallach says about these things. California is sure to stay an economic powerhouse because of all the workers we've got, being welcoming all the immigrants in the world here. That's one plus we got, but we just got to look after our pay. We got to look after our people and each other. I mean, people that immigrate here, they need to respect and care about the native-born Americans too. Just like they care about their own families, they've got to care about, the white guys too. If that's most of the homeless do seem to be white. But more and more are in that camp these days. Yeah, so how they've legalized slavery. Like I said, it's all through the minimum wage by being deliberately remiss. Okay, not accidentally, not through incompetence, not whoops. Just an oversight. Sorry, folks. We'll straighten out that minimum wage disparity right away and make the buying power, even with no progress, just make the buying power that, $1 an hour minimum wage had 55 years ago, commensurate with, you know, the what you would need to have that same buying power today. Okay. And it's just, you see what I mean about how we're far gone and how they've legalized, legitimized slavery right under our noses. That's how they did it, my friends. It's not a mystery, okay? And that's a big deal. And people